Greetings, Starfighters. Welcome to the Season 12 wrap-up, the Rock Hudson Comedy Collection, and boy, howdy. This was a rough one, folks. I came into this with no expectations, really. To the best of my knowledge, I'd never seen a full Rock Hudson movie before I started this set. I knew of him mainly through pop cultural osmosis. And so there wasn't really much for me to expect. I mean, I did try to keep my expectations measured going into the Burt Reynolds collection, but I was going into it having liked several of his movies that I'd seen in particular, like, All Dogs Go to Heaven, Boogie Nights. Wow, the gap between those two. In terms of content, not quality. And then, of course, Smokey and the Bandit. I mean, Smokey and the Bandit is almost 50 years later, it's still funny. That is rare to say about comedies. So that set being what it was, where even the best movie in the set really only works in like the last 10 minutes, and the best performance actually comes from one of the supporting actors instead of the leads. But every single one of the movies in the Burt Reynolds collection is better than, I would say, the bottom two, and arguably the bottom three of this 6-movie set. The bottom half was particularly awful, and even in the top half, one of them's not great. One of them it was okay, could have been better. There was one good movie this whole set. And if you've been paying attention this season, you already know which one it is. But, humor me for the countdown stuff here. So I imagine most of you watching this knows how this goes. It's doubtful that this is going to be anyone's first video for this channel or first video for this show. But, off chance, I do a countdown. I rank the movies in the set that I just watched, the DVD case I was holding up earlier, from worst in set to best in set. And then I have a special countdown voice. My countdown voice for this episode is Crimson of Superhero Rundown. Link to their show is in the show notes. And then once I've done that, I will announce the set chosen for the next season. Yeah, this next set is from a studio that was recently upgraded from pressure target to full boycott by the BDS movement, which is looking to boycott and divest from companies that support Israel. I bought the set before that. If it's any consolation, I don't make any money on this show anyway, so it's not like I'm getting a bag here. Yeah, it is a little awkward. It is what it is. I have ordered this set for season 14, but season 13 is only going to be 4 movies. So, anyway, enough about the seasons yet to come. It is time to do the countdown for season 12, which I think percentage-wise, at least, it's tied with season 7 for worst season of the show so far. You probably already heard me say this, I think, in the previous episode for the final movie, that season 7, it was 1 good movie, 1 okay movie, and then 8 complete pieces of shit. This is 1 good movie, 1 okay movie, and 4 complete pieces of shit. I don't know if that adds up percentage-wise. I'm not great at math. Someone who's good at math, post in the comments. Feel free to insult me, too. YouTube loves engagement. Okay, so we start, as always, with the worst in set, and I doubt anybody who was paying attention this season is going to be surprised when I say that it's
number 6, A Very Special Favor.
A Very Special Favor is a very offensively bad movie. That joke didn't work. I'm not going to use my A material on this piece of shit. Are you kidding me? one thing I've never wanted to do with this show is come across as the caustic critic type. I'm not really a critic at all. I think of myself more as a comedian. It's just that my shtick is I talk about a movie that I just watched that I'd never seen before. Couple of exceptions. Um, and yeah, I don't want to be seen as like a Doug Walker type, but I'm not really sure how I can convey how much contempt I have for a very special favor without risking it coming across like that. I do worry that it might be seen as hyperbolic by some, but it's really not. I hated this movie so much. It was misogynistic all through. It got homophobic towards the end. Nobody is likable. The closest thing to a likable character we get in this movie is the childhood friend of the female love interest's father. That's brother's cousin's sister's former uncle's former roommate. But yeah, the closest we get to a good character in the whole movie, and he's hardly even in it. And also, in previous episodes, I believe I have been guilty of using the term gaslighting inappropriately when I should have just said lying. I don't think I'm doing that here. I am pretty sure that that I'm using the term right when I say that both the male and female leads of this movie are not only perpetrators of, but also victims of gaslighting, especially from the female lead's father. This movie wants us to see it as a romantic comedy. The people making it want us to see it as a romantic comedy. It is not. It is a psychological thriller where the female lead's father is the villain. Somebody remake this movie, but actually do it as a thriller that knows that the father is the villain, because obviously the people who made the movie back in 1965 didn't know that he was the villain. Uh, back earlier this year, I put out a two-part tier ranking video where I tier ranked the books that I'd read between 2019 and 2024. I accidentally left off a book called Bump by Matt Wallace, a middle grade novel. It was great. It would have gone into the top tier if I remembered, and I'm sorry about that. Total tangent. But for the bottom tier, I named the bottom tier The Hate Monologue from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, referring to both the story and video game inspired by the story from Harlan Ellison. And yeah, I'd say the hate monologue definitely applies to this movie. I was gonna play the clip from the game, but it's a little long. Don't worry. I'm not monetized. I don't want to risk a copyright strike on a channel that's not monetized. That would just be so embarrassing.
Number 5. Strange Bedfellows.
Strange Bedfellows. It is one of two movies featuring actress. What the fuck was her name? Gina Lollobrigida. I don't even care if I pronounce that right because I didn't like her in either of these movies. She was actually less bad in this one, ironically. But, yeah, these two were so not meant to be together, and the movie did not really seem to understand this. It was just dumb. Not offensive on the level of A Very Special Favor, but it comes kind of close. It's certainly the most overtly conservative. Well, actually, now that I think about it, maybe A Very Special Favor is... A Very Special Favor is just more straight up misogynistic, and you can unfortunately find misogyny on all ends of the political spectrum. But Strange Bedfellows is a very conservative movie, and that definitely contributes to me not liking it. Yeah, I don't really understand what the point of this movie was. I don't even know if they actually filmed where the movie is set. I mean, if that was the case, it might have been worth it. But even then, God. Yeah, Strange Bedfellows is just trash. It manages to be better then a very special favor by simply managing to be marginally less offensive.
Number 4, Come September.
Come September is the other movie with her in it, and she's less likable in that one. But the movie is still slightly better for being less overt in its political badness, and also having more of a supporting cast, or perhaps I should say, more. They give this movie, Come September, gives its supporting cast more to do. Granted, that suffers a little bit too because they have Joel Grey in it, but he doesn't sing. At which point, it's kind of like, well, I was gonna say why bother, but then again, he didn't sing in his episode of Star Trek Voyager either, and that was okay. Yeah, the supporting cast being tolerable keeps this movie from going below Strange Bedfellows. Although, now that I think about it, Strange Bedfellows is bad enough; it would still probably be worse. But Come September is another one where they definitely should not be together. They are deeply unlikable. But yeah, the supporting cast is definitely the high point, such as it is. And you're kind of rooting for them, even though they're doing something that is kind of illegal. But yeah, just not a good movie. Not a good movie at all. Yeah. I don't know why I made that noise there.
Number 3, Man's Favorite Sport.
Man's favorite sport is, maybe if it had been shorter, I would have liked it more. Also, this is more my perspective kind of thing. I just don't feel like the thing that the main character had to hide was something that he should have had to hide. It's like, okay, why would anybody care that he got his expertise from reading books and listening to people with experience as opposed to having done it himself? I mean, I could see that being a problem now. We're going through a bit of anti-intellectualism in my country. But, I mean, this was made in the 1960s where that wasn't quite that bad. I mean, I think people in general were a little bit more willing to listen to experts. Maybe? I don't know. I wasn't alive then. Maybe I'm just talking out my ass here. But I never really felt that what Rock Hudson needed to hide from his employers was really that big of a deal. This is another one where the love interest isn't that great, but definitely better than the previous 3. I think maybe if the movie had been shorter and gave us more of a reason to want to root for them, I guess, is how I want to put it. I mean, it's not. I've definitely seen worse, and not just for this show, but yeah, I still didn't really entirely buy them as a couple. I mean, Paula Prentice was funny enough. I think she did the best she could with the material she was given. But yeah, I think ultimately, even with all those other little complaints I had, the big one, the thing that really kills this movie, is the length. I made a joke during the episode where I talked about it, about how this movie is the rom-com equivalent of This Meeting Could Have Been an Email. It did not need to be 2 freaking hours. Very, very few comedies need to be 2 hours. Even good ones do not need to be that long. Yeah, didn't need to be 2 hours. That's ultimately Man's Favorite Sport's biggest failing. A lot of little failings, but the big one is the length. There had to be a better way to phrase that.
Number 2, Blindfold.
This one is a bit different from the other movies this season in that it is a spy comedy as opposed to a rom-com, although it does have a romance subplot. And the romance subplot, unlike the romantic main plots of 3 of the 4 movies I just talked about, is actually worth it. In fact, it's about the strongest part of the movie. What is unfortunate, though, is that it doesn't make up that much of the movie. This is not to say that there's nothing in the other stuff, in the spy stuff, that there is some stuff there that works here and there, sprinkled throughout. The movie is at its strongest during the period when Rock Hudson and Claudia Cardinale are not only sharing the screen together, but their characters are liking each other, which does not describe 100% of their screen time. It starts out rough. There's a bit of like a third act breakup there, I guess, even though they weren't technically dating at that point in the story. Not for real, anyway. But still, it's when they're together and together is when the movie really works, and there's just not enough of that, unfortunately. That said, though, I'd say I'd still kind of recommend it. It's kind of fun. It definitely could be better. I think you could maybe get a decent remake out of this one. It's based on a book, so it probably wouldn't be that difficult. And not like a super popular one, so it couldn't. I don't know if it would be that difficult to get the rights to it. I don't know. Yeah, Blindfold's just kind of fine, really. I don't hate it. I don't. Yeah, I don't hate it at all. They're most of the jokes that are supposed to land. I think the fight scenes are really kind of the weakest part of it. I don't think this was a director's. I don't think the director had experience in action movies before. I think I recall reading that somewhere, and it shows. But yeah, it's. I mean, I'm just glad that it's not. Again, it's not great, but I'm glad that it's the movie we ended the season on, as opposed to like any of the other movies that I've already talked about. And so, through a process of elimination, and also, let's be honest, if you were watching the season, you knew this was coming. Here we are with the best in set movie for season 12. I don't know why I'm doing this. The DVD poster is not going to go there. That's completely off camera.
Number 1. Has anybody seen my gal?
Has anybody seen my gal? Is charming. A little dated, sure, but if that's the worst thing you can say about a romantic comedy from the late 50s, that's high praise. What's interesting about this one, it's the only movie in the Rock Hudson set where Rock Hudson isn't actually top billed. Depending on what poster you're looking at, he could be second or third billed. He's either second behind Charles Coburn or third behind Charles Coburn and Piper Laurie. I think it's a testament to how well written the comedy in this movie is that this movie got me to care for a character who in real life I would absolutely despise, who I would want to be taxed into oblivion. And that's the mark of good writing right there. So yeah, and Rock Hudson, his thing with Piper Laurie is sort of the secondary plot, but it's charming enough. I mean, I do think it's probably not great that the female love interest is so completely spineless. I mean, even the ones in the bad movies had a bit of a spine. Also were horrible people, but I gotta stop doing these tangents. I never script the season wrap-ups. Can you tell? Well, you can if this isn't your first one, because I think I say something along those lines in every single one. Yeah, has anybody seen My Gal? It's just a charming little rom-com. Again, a little dated, but, certainly watchable. It's funny. Most of the jokes land. And, there's really not that much more to say about it. I think this is the one movie of this set that I would actually recommend. I mean, I know I kind of sort of liked Blindfold, but I think in terms of like strong recommendations, I would say if you could only find the time to watch one movie from this season, it would be Has Anybody Seen My Gal? Although I don't think you would have needed me to tell you that. I think its placement as best in set would have been plenty. I think I don't. I think it's time to just go ahead and move on to the next bit especially since I have completely lost my natural light. Yeah, this is a little dark for season wrap-ups, isn't it? Okay, so okay, thanks. If you watched the whole season 12 of Shameless Cashgrab, thank you so much. Thanks again to Morgan Merrill, designer of the title card, especially since she kind of stepped in at the last minute. And although I mean I liked what she did enough that I kind of wish I'd asked her first to begin with, but hey, that's life, And maybe I'll work with her again sometime. So next up, yay, Herbie mentioned it was a problematic studio, even by film studio standards. But yeah, we're doing Disney, folks. We are doing Disney. 4 Disney, well, it says classics, but one of these is Darby O'Gill and the Little People. It's like I know that movie from Reputation. I wouldn't call it a classic at all. I think all of these are from what's known as the What Would Walt Have Done era, which Disney was lucky to survive. I don't think any of the movies they put out in this era, live action or animated, are considered beloved. Some of them might have built up some cult followings over the years. What am I talking about? Okay, yeah, Disney classics. These are all live action, and from the, I believe, 60s, maybe early 70s, probably just 60s. And title card for this season is designed by the artist goes by Tiny Donut. I know her from one of my Discord servers. She went harder on this title card than I expected. All I really asked for was Steamboat Willie holding up a sign that says Free Palestine. And she went above and beyond on this one. So, yeah. Is there really any more to say at this point? I think I've rambled. After 12 of these, I'm starting to think maybe I should start scripting the season wrap-up episodes. Nah, why start now? Season 13 starts in 2026, January, hopefully. Unless I get sick again. I usually get sick in January. So there won't be a Shameless Cash Grab in December, so I guess I'll just go ahead and say Merry Christmas to everyone. I mean, I might put out like a tier ranking video or something. My editor might put out something. I've talked to her before about maybe her and her spouse Robin, doing stuff in the gap, since I usually take a month off between seasons. Nothing, confirmed there as yet. That is the season 12 wrap up, folks. And I should not have filmed this so late in the day, but what can you do? I suppose I could always try to do this again. Have fun. Have fun. Stay safe.
Hey, Arkle, this is our second attempt because I don't know how to read. God, I don't even know what any of these are, just so we're clear.